Good morning, and it is another bright and sunny morning here in the UK. Sun is shining. It's been quite frosty this morning, but yeah, the sun is shining now, so that's excellent. So welcome in. My name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK, and it's lovely to welcome you to join me to do some crafting. We try to come in twice a week and do a little bit of crafting with you. So here we are for the first time this week. So let me introduce myself a bit more. This is me. This is where you will find my website, and this is where you will find information about classes, links to my shops, all of those sorts of things here on www.love-a-duckie.co.uk. Do head on over there and check that out, and get some inspiration and things that goes up fairly regularly. And also, this will be the last time I'm pulling up this slide, because this offer will end on Thursday. So by the time we come back on Friday, you will no longer be able to get a mini cut and emboss at 20% off. And these bundles that are with it as well are currently 20% off. So do go and check all of those out, and do make sure you don't miss out on that offer. And if you have any questions, obviously do get in touch with me. But if you follow the links to my shop, you will find the things that are on offer. We still have for sale the tutorial bundle that's raising money for the Ukrainian appeal from the International Committee of the Red Cross. So do come and seek that out and support us to support them, and have some lovely cards to make in the meantime. So win-win. And then in April, we still have these are the classes that are coming up in April. I have, because I've seen that new catalogue, I've started to trail through and see what things we might be playing with in upcoming months, waiting to see now what's going to be on the pre-order list. But yes, these are the ones that are coming up before then. We're going to do a one-sheet wonder with the ladybugs, and we're going to do a stamper stack with the amazing silhouettes. Both of those sets of products are carrying over into the new catalogue. And the other thing that we have coming up is the Symbols of Fortune Stamp Camp, and that's always fabulous value. So do come and join us for that as well. And don't forget the retreat that's coming up. So yeah, that's coming up in June. Do get your place booked on that, so I know who I'm preparing for. So it would be lovely to have you join me for that as well. So let us bring in our downward facing camera, and I have got in front of me here my set of Playful Alphabets. Now this is not carrying over, so you will currently find this on the retiring list, and I did check before I went live. I checked last night, so hopefully still this morning it is still available. But a really useful set of letters, and I thought we'd have a bit of a play with this today, and make a couple of fun cards. I have done quite a little bit of die cutting already, but I will do some more now. What I have got here somewhere, she says, hopefully. Has that gone? I've only just had my hands on it. Various bits of card and things in front of me. Here it is. It's because it's sticky. I've got here a bit of, it's going to look a bit weird because I've got a piece of basic white card, but I have stuck some double-sided adhesive on it, so a double-sided sheet on the back, because I need to cut out quite a few letters, and I thought it would be much easier to have the sheet on the back so that we can just peel it and stick it. Now I have a list here of the letters that I need. So let's see how many cuts we can do this in. There's quite a lot of double letters in here, which when you're doing something like this is really useful. I need 2 eyes, so I do have 2 eyes. I need an L. Do come on and say hello if you are joining us live. It's always lovely to see who's here with us. I need a B. I need 2 R's. I actually need 3 T's, so I'm going to have 2 for now. Let me just write down here 1 times T because I need another of those. Yep. So I was just reading my own writing then. It looked like I needed 5, but I don't think I do. I think it is only 3. 2 H's, I've only got 1, so we'll need a 1 times H in a minute. I need an O. I need a D. I need 3 A's. At the moment, I've only got 2, so we'll have a 1 times A. I need 3 Y's. So I'm going to need 2 more of those. And 3 P's. So I'm going to need 1 more of those. Okay. Hi Lee, lovely to see you. I'm just working out what letters I need from this basic white. Excuse me, I've got a long cord on my mic, but it's wrapped around a leg of a chair. Let me bring in, I'm going to run these. I could have run these through my mini machine. Obviously, they are going to fit through there very easily. But I'll be very honest, I'm trying to make today as little die cutting as I can, get a little run through the die cutting machine as I can, because I've got a very painful elbow. So I am die cutting left-handed, which is okay. Crunch, crunch. I'm going to run it through twice, forward and back. Now there's a T. I do need another T. I'm going to need another P. Ooh, pop, pop. There's a P. All of those popped out of there for now. Let me bring in my, so I want a T, I want a H, I want an A, I want a P, and I want 2 Y's. Let's just put these ones over here for now. We can pop those out in a minute. That one's lost the back of its sticky, so I need to be careful with that one. Let's bring in our sheet again. Hi Glenda. So we're busy cutting out letters. H, A, P, T and Y. The lovely thing about the Playful Alphabet letters is that you can use them to personalize things, add names, even if they're really unusual names. All three of my grandchildren have names that you don't necessarily see very commonly. So something like this will enable you to create something personalised for an Edison, a Thea and a Kellen. There is a new alphabet set coming. But obviously, as we say goodbye to any alphabet sets, we do tend to mourn them. But just because they are retiring doesn't mean that you can't ever use them again. It just means that you can't get them. So, yeah, make sure that you've got your set. I very much still have my big letters and numbers. Ooh, there's a U there that hasn't been popped out. And I use those fairly regularly, but this is quite a nice, slightly smaller sized alphabet. Right, I think that's all of our letters cut. Let's just pop these out and pop the dies. I do tend to keep them in alphabetical order, but I'll do that afterwards. And of course, you've got all the nice exclamation marks and hashtags and all of those sorts of special characters in there as well. The huskies up the road are singing to us. I needed to change my clock in here because, of course, we changed the clocks back over the weekend. So my clock in my craft room is still reading an hour behind. It says it's just coming up to 8:20, which of course it isn't. Right, so what I thought we'd do is we'd have a bit of a play with some popular word games and create, hopefully, a couple of cards that remind people of a couple of popular word games. We're going to do one new home card and one birthday card. And both cards, I think, will be square. That we'll get. Oh, no, that's the wrong way around. That one wants to go in there and that one wants to go there. Let's pop those over to one side. So I've already cut some tiles for these cards. So let's see. Let's start with the ones, the white letters. And so as I bring out these, you might have a bit of a clue as to what game we're going to be playing. So I have cut some 2.2 centimetres. I've worked out that hopefully all of our letters are going to stick on 2.2 square, and it just makes it that bit. I didn't want to go as quite as big as 2.5 because that takes it outside of we'd have to go into really big cards for that. So I have got some black squares, I've got some yellow squares, and I've got some green squares, and I have all of my letters. And I spent ages yesterday working out what we were going to have on our a game of Wordle. So for my first line, I'm going to get them all wrong. And I need an S. Now, as we come down here, you will see that this particular game of Wordle would have made me, I don't know about you, a little bit twitchy because I've not really taken notice of my yellow squares on some. I've gone back in and done more wrong bits. This one is going to be an E. I'll get my backing on there. This one is an M. So I don't know how many of you are Wordle addicts. I do my Wordle every morning. I'd got quite a nice little run going on, and then I had to I changed my phone and lost my run. And an L. So here's my starter word. And they're all wrong because they're all black. Now, the next row, I need actually it's worse than ignoring yellows. I ignored 2 greens. So we're going to have 3 blacks and 2 greens. And for this row, we're going to have a B. I tried ever so hard to get it to go so that it was no wrong letters. See, I've used an I again in this row, even though obviously it's not right because I got a black in the row above. But I've obviously had a bit of a, mad moment when I was doing this one. An R. A T. And a H. So I was looking for words that were going to be sort of fairly birthday related. Now my next row, I'm going to have 2 black, 1 yellow, and 2 yellow and 1 green. Don't think that's necessarily the right order. So that's a yellow, that's a green, that's a yellow, those 2 are black. Okay, so for this one, Let's have an A. And let's have a Y. And the next one, we're going to have 2 black, 1 yellow, and 2 green. So that's a black. That's a green. That's a yellow. That's a green. That's a black. Can I get to the backing off of this one? Yes, I can. H. That's P. That's a P. That's a Y. And that's an A. So our last one, we've got our act together. And smile, birth, today, happy. And then we want 3 greens on the bottom. We've got today's word in 5. We didn't quite go to the 6. And we're going to have a P. Digging about and seeing which ones I can find at which point. There's a T. There's an R. There's an A. And here's a Y. Now I'm going to take, I think, a piece of black cardstock. I'm going to cut it so it is 14.9 wide and then score it at 14.9. Now, Imperial, you really are going to have a play and see if you can get this whether this will fit on, because to do this, to create the biggest square you can out of a piece of cardstock, that would be 5.5, so that would be just under 14. You might just about squeeze these words on, or you might try and take it down to, you know, slightly smaller again in the squares. If you'd probably be able to shear a little bit more off. I'm actually going to take a bit of white cardstock. 14.4. When I did my calculations, I think these should work out at about 13.2 or something. So we should be able to get doing maths first thing in the morning. We get those made on there. Oh, where did you come from? Just there. We'll be able to have a play. Right, what I'm actually going to do, having put those all on there, let's just switch them over. I'm actually going to take a little bit more and give a slightly wider black border. I'm just going to take another 0.5 centimetre off, so that would have been a 13.9 square. Try not to have to remove all my letters. Just because that will hopefully give the sort of sense of a bit of a, there's your phone or whatever, your screen. So this would be quite fun for anybody who's a bit of a letter. I think all of my family are playing Wordle at the moment. So I know it is very popular. And you can obviously have a play around with words and things. Okay, so let's stick some of these down. Try and get this bottom line to bring those across a little bit. Nicely spaced, and then hopefully the rest will follow. Could probably have played with that a bit more and got that slightly better spaced out, but just position all of those. And obviously you're going to take a lot more time doing this than I'm going to. Don't know if anybody's got any other suggestions of words we could have used. Of course, they have to be 5-letter words. I have seen, I was looking on Pinterest to see who else had created cards and things. Oh, I don't think the back that's come off completely. That's why it's not sticking properly. And lots of people have sort of used like half words, so they'd have perhaps had birth there and then just day on the next one with some blank squares. That didn't feel quite right to me. You can't pass on to the next row until you've got 5 letters in there and a correct word, else it just beeps, it just shakes at you and says, no, not a real word, can't use that one. So if you've never played Wordle and have no idea what it's about, it's one of those games, very simple. You just get a new word issued every day. You go in and just put in your first guessed word. And if it's black, then it's not right. Those letters don't appear at all. If they're yellow, they do appear, but not in that position. And if they're green, you've got the right letter in the right position. So I'm sure you could probably come up with some punny greeting for the inside. Just a wordle or two to wish you a happy birthday, something like that. So there we go. We have used our Playful Alphabets to create a Wordle card. Obviously that is going to need a white inner in it to write on, unless you've got a white pen. I'm going to wrap some of this Playful Pets twine around the outside. This is retiring. I'm sad to see that go. I have loved this twine. I've gone a bit mad there now. Let's just tie that. Let's give that a bit of a bow. There we go. So there is a Wordle card using, and you can see here, there's pages. So I was going through lots of different ideas of what I could do in terms of words to make that work. So there's one word game that you can create using your letters. Just looking for where my other piece went. Let me just gather up my Wordle squares. It actually looks like the colours of our local rugby team as well. There we go. So that would be a double whammy for somebody. Right. This one, I've cut some very vanilla squares and some black letters. So a different word game. This time I thought we'd do a new home card. I can't see where my bit of paper is that I've scribbled all this down on. Let's see if I can remember. I'm going to need to find my bit of paper. Having a mental block. Here it is. Right. Let's bring this up a little bit. Right, there we go, I do believe. Let us start to fill in some of these. That's a P. So obviously black letters, ivory background. You're on a bit of Scrabble now. The one thing I didn't print off was I was going to print off the letter scores. Okay. If you want to, you can always write those in on the corner. Make it even more authentic. Just about squeezes on that square, hangs over a little bit. That was almost like had to make that sacrifice in order to fit them all on. Have that S just there. A just there. N. There's an O. A. It's funny, I'm not picking out the letters particularly. It's funny how the sort of joining ones haven't come out. Right, here's our first completed word across the bottom. To new. Got a home. Got keys somewhere. So we'll have done quite well if we'd have got this far and only lost one letter. Aha, haven't lost it, just haven't taken it out of the die. Last but not least, a U. So we've got unpack, keys, happy, home, and new. So let's have a little look. That is obviously going to be fairly large card. I think we could make that onto a 6-inch card as well. So I'm going to go for the 14.9 again. I'm using black again. Hopefully we should be able to squeeze that onto there. And the other thing I've got here is a piece of shaded spruce cardstock to be the sort of mat on the back. Bring that to 14.4. And I think are we going to squeeze that on there? Or were we being a little bit enthusiastic to think we can get it on a 6? No, I think we will just about. Get it on there. So let's come across this top first because that does do the entire width, and that's that will give us a good indicator. And what I haven't done, and I should have done, is look at what different coloured squares we need in between to finish this off. Going to end up getting the end of my glue. I know that's never good because it means at some point it's going to splurge. I'm just going to lay these down, and then if I need to trim the edge of the green, I will do. to fit. So after we finished, I think I will go on and find out what do I want to go in and put the numbers? No, perhaps I won't actually. Perhaps I haven't left myself enough room to put letters, numbers. And just hanging around in the background. Right, I'm just going to fetch some other oddments of card. Looking at the colours of card, the colour I want is going to be one of the new in colours next year. But we will make do with what we have now. So I'm going to take some clips of coral and a bit of balmy blue. And I'm just going to cut a couple more 2.2 centimetre squares. Let's cut a 2.2 strip off of there. And I'm just lining it up over on this right hand side. That tends to be easier if you're looking at little numbers. So you do get different colour Scrabble boards and all of that sort of thing, but I think this will work. I think that's quite wide enough, is it? cut another one. You might not need it, but just in case, trim that down. And let's just put in some random coloured squares. That's not very square, is it, that one? It's gone very wonky down the bottom there. There we go. And the Scrabble board does have a sort of white line coming down it. It's gone very wonky on the bottom, but then perhaps the Scrabble board has been knocked. It just helps break up where there isn't any tiles in the centre there. So there we have a Scrabble new home card. So a couple of fun word games using those fabulous, they're now all out of order. I will put them back in order just because that will makes it so much easier to find them if you have them on a sheet in order, I think. And to see if you're missing any as well. But really useful alphabet set. If you haven't yet got it, as I say, it is going to disappear. So do get it while stocks last. Don't be left without it, because you've got the letters, you've got the numbers, you've got, as I say, those special characters and punctuation marks and things. So it is a really, really useful set. For creating, cards that you can't quite think what to do. So if it's a new home or a new job, that's always useful. Yeah, or just for getting on board with a bit of a trending word game. So I hope you have enjoyed those. And yeah, I'll work out my Scrabble score and see how much I've made, whether any of those are on triple words or something. So do enjoy the rest of the week. I will be back on Friday. I haven't yet put up what I'm going to be using. I'm sort of leaving it a little bit just to see what is still hanging around, what has already gone. It's no good me doing a video on something that you no longer can get. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your week. And as I say, I'll be back on Friday. I think we've got some workmen starting up now, so that's good timing. So see you all again very, very soon.